Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's me, it's your friend, Yakra Commentator, and welcome back to yet another episode of the redo of Shadow of Colossus. Last time on the redo of Shadow of Colossus was mainly the introduction episode. This time, we're actually going to be getting into the actual story of the game, finding out a little bit more about why we are here and what this place is called. So, what do you say we dive on into a new game? We're going to go on normal difficulty, as we did before.
Was yuhik aurel yek forol ikudiwi bikuka yulbzolu iondu yulilo kok ayuzi yulakordoloya olik olazulam kaz ilzozeriku atzoko amnos crudo laomism wop was you the ulas also view houses is view ikola kizado you lola islis pozaiku aumizukikyo you are la kika.
行く You call us You dreaming I will think You own you
Dormi for Alula Ostu Hailwa Wuku Aikwa Ujisu Yazu Tsudoko was Nordekyo Utiula.
I will answer I will be You eyes Dormi Cute
Izukumku Idus Orodo you Iweriko. It's not ours amusement. Alu Tiklik if the leads to Izo.
我什么事一直往有了，有了可我一直爱你的可，因为可是有，爱的你那可，有爱的，no，有的。Oh, you
Uronola.
Reason could come around you. You are a good
Oyu. I'll bet.
I was difficult. No certain kiss, no cuddle. On those around us. I will continue. Error was not this. It will do. It will do. No.
You do. You bet, Sanada.
Recall. I will do. Was not this. Oh, you are there, cry of sound. Was you are there, Oricum, Zula, Lukira Jura. Nosus, you are your lands, Kandu, Nukodu.
Olam.
You are the was not little. You will yellow. Why you are our shit.
Ola. You do new.
No cooler. It will arrow. I will join I was you arrow become dance around here car after
with all that said and done, what a long freaking introduction.
You two, I will dread.
So what do you say we get introductions out of the way? So, first things first, this guy right here, this young man is named Wander. This young lady right here, her name is Mono. And over here, we have ourselves our trusty steed known as Aggro. And believe it or not, Aggro is actually a female, despite a lot of people believing Aggro to be male. One of the creators of the game believes Aggro to be more feminine than male, so I'm just going to say she throughout the entirety of this whenever I refer to Aggro. So, first things first, you can press the X button right here to jump. You can press either left or right on the analog stick to pull out either your bow or your sword. I believe the left one is your arrow. Yes, the left one is your bow and arrow. And if you simply want to put away your sword or your arrow, simply press up on the D-pad. And then if you want to pull out your sword, by all means press the right analog stick. So, I believe whichever one you actually have out at the moment is whatever weapon that Wander will use, question mark. Yes, so if he's got his sword out and you use the R1 button over here, Wander will raise his sword. However, if you have your bow instead and you press the R1 button, then you're actually able to fire a bow. And here's the thing, you have unlimited bows in this game. There is no picking up bows, there is no inventory at all. Your bows just magically appear out of nowhere inside of your hand, and you're able to fire as many bows as possible. So, when it comes to Wander, Wander is actually very skilled at both being a horseman and the bow and arrow. However, when it comes to his sword skills, Wander is honestly the worst at it, as his slashes are a little too fast, a little clunky. But when it comes to being using his bow and arrow, his shots seem to be a little accurate, despite my aim being absolutely terrible. And when it comes to being a horseman, watch this. So if you want to call Aggro over, if Aggro is ever not near you, press the triangle button. If Wander or Aggro ever far away enough, then Wander will actually whistle for her. Like so. And if you hold down the triangle button, you can actually see the camera will actually move in the direction that Aggro is currently facing. That way you know where she's coming from. Aggro is always at Wander's side, aside from a few colossal fights, because Aggro is only needed for 5 out of 16 of these colossal fights. And pretty much, Aggro is always at your side. If you want to mount Aggro, press the triangle button or press the square button, like so. Now, it says press triangle to make Aggro run faster. However, if you simply hold down the triangle, Aggro will gain more speed. Otherwise, if you keep pressing the triangle button over and over again, you're mainly just hitting Aggro's sides right there, probably causing a little bit of pain and probably being really annoying. Now, in order to find the Colossus, make sure you have your sword out. Well, you don't necessarily need to have your sword out, but make sure that you have your sword equipped. And press the R1 button. You see the light right here? The more spread apart the lights are, the farther away from the Colossus you are facing. However, if all the lights combine into one, that is the direction that you have to go to find the Colossus. So, our first Colossus just so happens to be in this direction over here. Now, there are items that you could find. There are certain animals that you could find as well. There are fruits, and there are silver-tailed lizards, and there are golden coins, I believe, but I'm not necessarily going to go out of my way for them. I'm merely just going to go from Colossus to Colossus, because I don't really feel like 100%ing this game, even though 100%ing this game is probably the easiest, probably one of the easier games to 100%, because there are absolutely no side quests, there are no NPCs, it's just you and your horse. And every time you enter an area where a Colossus is near, a cutscene will trigger and a certain soundtrack will play. I'll probably put it on the screen, but I'm going to say it anyway. The name of the soundtrack right now is called Sign of Colossus. You see this moss right here? Is this moss? I'm not entirely sure, but you are able to climb. So simply jump, press X, and hold down the R2 button. However, you see that gauge in the bottom right corner right there? That is your stamina gauge. Your stamina is very important for this entire game right here. If you don't have stamina, then you can't do anything in this entire game, because you need stamina to freaking climb, and you're going to be climbing on these Colossus you're going to be climbing on these Colossus because these Colossus are freaking huge. So if you don't have any stamina, then you can't do anything. So make sure that your stamina gauge is full at all costs. If not full, make sure it's decently full. What I did right there was a dive roll. Granted, this move right here, I can only think of a few scenarios and a few Colossus to use it, to actually use that move. Otherwise, I don't really find myself using the dive roll as much, because not many of these Colossi are actually able to... Some of them are pretty... some of these colossi aren't as aggressive as the other ones. Some of them are just kind of minding their own business, just kind of going about their day. And others are really aggressive. So dive roll if absolutely necessary. Otherwise, I don't do it as much. So if we were to go a little bit further over here. Colossus number 1, his name is Valus, and believe it or not, he's actually one of the smaller colossi. So, Valus will actually not initiate a fight unless you enter his line of vision or if you somehow attack him. Otherwise, he's just going to simply be walking around this territory for the entirety of his pretty much existence right now. So, what you want to do is if you hold down the L2 button, the camera will actually face the direction that the Colossus is currently in, and you can honestly get some pretty good thumbnails out of this too. You know what? I think I might use this as a thumbnail. One of those frames. Yeah, so Future B, you know what to do. Do your thing. However, if we also whistle while Valus has his back turned to us, he will stop in his tracks and he will turn around to face us. Now, you see this right here on the back of his left leg right here. This is called a minor sigil. Each Colossus has at least a major sigil and a minor sigil. Some of them don't have major sigils, but they all have a major sigil. Also, Dorman will give you hints every now and then on how to defeat the Colossus if you take too long, but I know how to defeat each and every single one of them. I'm just explaining stuff right now. So, minor sigils deal a little bit of damage. Major sigils are the ones you want to go for because they will be dealing the most damage. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to whistle. Valus is going to stop in his track. And then he's going to turn to face us to see where... Oh, crap. Is he turning this way? He's turning that way. Yeah, he's going to turn in a direction where he heard the sound. So what you want to do for Valus is you want to get on the back of his left leg. And while holding on, press and hold square to raise your sword. Press again for a stab attack, like so. Bam! Alright, the longer you accumulate power in the attack, the greater the damage will be! Shoot. Alright, we're going to want to stab him again. That way he can kneel over. Once he's kneeled over, jump on his back like this, and make sure you get to this platform as quick as possible. So, Colossus will actually do their best to shake you off. When it comes to Valus, though, Valus isn't really that aggressive. Then again, these first two Colossus that we're going to go up against are tutorial-based Colossi, just to get you, the player, the hang of what they're going to do. But yes, the Colossus will do everything in their power to shake you off. However, not every Colossus is going to have convenient platforms like this that we can stand on. And this is where stamina comes in handy. You need stamina to hold on, and you also need stamina to climb. So, if you can, if your stamina is low, let go. Make sure you're able to walk on the Colossus like this. You don't need to grab onto anything, otherwise you'll fall! Like so. And then refill your stamina gauge as much as you can. As mentioned many times, if you don't have stamina, you can't do anything. Now, Valus has one major sigil on normal and easy difficulty. He has another major sigil on hard difficulty. I think I'll put the text on screen of what difficulty they have, different sigils and all that jazz. So, his major sigil is on the top of his head. So, accumulate power and just stab away. Valus is actually not that aggressive when shaking. So, you're able to keep stabbing until you run low on stamina or until he's down. Just one more good stab on to do it. And that about does it for the first episode, the first official episode of Shadow of the Colossus. So thank you everybody for watching. Hope to see you back here in the next one, and stay fresh, everybody.